Hi everyone. When we look at the accounting for expenses in a normal industry, in a usual industry, you would see the costs allocated under the operating activities, investing activities, or financing activities. That's basically the Ind AS 118 perspective, which is a presentation of financial statements. The insurance industry actually would look at the expenses in a very different manner. Okay, it needs to see, by the way, in case of Ind AS 117, that whether those expenses that are incurred by an insurance company are they really a part of the insurance business or are they outside the insurance business? Okay, now that's a critical statement that we're making. We're saying that whether these costs are a part of insurance business, which would directly have an impact on the overall insurance results or insurance service results, or these are outside the purview of insurance results. Now, what does it mean? It actually means that we are talking about, for an insurance company, that there are there is a small P&L within the overall P&L. Okay, so there is an income statement as a part of the overall income statement, which reflects how the insurance business has worked, how the insurance business has fared, and then the overall performance of the company per se, the insurance company, right? So there's a core insurance business and the insurance service result of that, revenue minus insurance expenses, and then there is an overall P&L for the company as a whole. Okay, and that is where we need to distinguish these costs between what lie within the insurance results, what actually bring that insurance results, and what are those which are more like general overheads, which are not exactly because of just the insurance business that you are, kind of raising in the market. It could be a normal cost for you, and that is where you would want to understand some concepts of something called as directly attributable acquisition costs, directly attributable maintenance costs, and then you would have the balancing figure as other overheads. Okay, we're talking about something like a DAAC, directly attributable acquisition costs, a DAMC, directly attributable maintenance cost, and then anything else is not sitting in those two buckets but would be part of other overheads. Now, what exactly are we saying here is we are simply saying that what are those costs that you would incur when you are trying to acquire new business in the insurance. Okay, a classic example could be your underwriting fee. Another example could be your day one commission when you pay something to the agent or the aggregator for him to be selling the policies on your behalf. So there's a commission payable on that. Okay, underwriting fee, as I said already, that would be there. Okay, so these are the examples of your acquisition costs, policy issuance documents, and some initial medical, costs that are incurred. There could be a very dedicated marketing spent on, let's say, selling a new product. These are all the examples of the DAAC. Okay. Likewise, once you have sold off that policy, okay, then you are, you know, reaching out back to the policy holder for a renewal of the policy, as an example. Okay, so there would be a trail commission, second year commission and onwards. That could be an example of directly attributable maintenance costs. There could be another example of, issuing The second policy, let's say through a courier or maybe through an email, there are obviously some administrative costs associated with that. Okay, so these could be the examples of the DAMC. And then the third category could be, you know, think of it like this: that you are having a an accounting system in place. You are just paying for the maintenance thereof. It has nothing exactly to do with the insurance business. It's more like a cost that you would spend for your company as a whole. You may have some HR staff which is not into the sale or maintenance of the insurance policy. So those costs would be the kind of costs which fit into the other overheads there. Okay. Now the question is, why is it important? Okay, and how do we identify such costs? Is basically what we are looking for. So in this scenario, what we want to do is basically identify or classify the different expenses that an insurance company may incur in the course of the business, and look at it under what categories can they fall, can these costs actually fall. And then we will see basically how do these costs matter matter for the purposes of accounting, matter for the purposes of reporting the insurance business results and the overall performance of the company. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's look at it like this. If I were to say I'm talking about the day one commission costs, okay, and let's give it a number. Let's say that we're talking about 12 lakh for this. Now, this is clearly an example of a directly attributable acquisition cost. So, this entire 12 lakh sits within this particular category. Okay. Likewise, I may look at the underwriting cost. Okay. Give it a number again. Let's say we're talking about 5 lakh. So, very likely this entire 5 lakh would sit in this category once again. Okay. And then we're looking at, let's say, policy administration costs. Okay, give it a number of, let's say, 3 lakh. Now, primarily, these costs would align to, let's say, there is a staff sitting in your, in your company, which actually administers these costs. This could be costs related to the claim receipt, documentation, verification thereof, and then let's say, of the entire such cost of the staff, probably you're looking at around a little more than 85% of 80% of the time goes into those processing of the document. So it's not exactly an acquisition cost, but that becomes, let's say, as an example of, we're taking a rough number here, which is 2.5 lakh. So that would come here, and the remaining 50,000, that becomes a part of your other overheads or overheads. So it's not exactly entirely coming in here. You're able to allocate these costs between the different categories there. Okay. Now it does not mean that underwriting costs cannot again, go there, but just taking a safer assumption that this could be one such case there. Okay. Likewise, you would have as an extension claim handling costs. Just give it another number. Maybe you talk about another 5 lakh. So you know that it's not exactly a dedicated team, but let's say 3.2 lakh here and 1.8 lakh. So they would be doing more work on the the overheads as well. So that's how you do the allocation there. Okay. Likewise, you may have your finance or actuarial related staff cost. Let's give it a number of, I don't know, let's say 6 lakhs or maybe 10 lakhs, doesn't matter. Now, the actuarial team would be very likely responsible for creating a product, doing the modeling, doing the assessment, making those assumptions and stuff like that. So let's say the larger chunk of this, and maybe even the finance team, because then look at the pricing together. So maybe out of this, around 7 lakh comes as a part of your directly attributable acquisition costs. Maybe another 2 lakhs for the DAMC, directly attributable maintenance cost, and the remaining 1 lakh sits in the overheads. So that's how you're able to kind of build this perspective around it. And then you're looking at the other overheads. And this is an important term. Other overheads does not necessarily mean only overheads. There could be a depreciation. But then there are people from the pricing team using a space, and on that space there is a depreciation cost. Okay. So if I say that this is another, let's take a number here. So we have got 17, 20, 25, 35. So let's say another 5 lakh. We may say that out of this, roughly 3 lakhs sits under the DAAC because that's where the larger team is sitting. Maybe another 1 lakh or 1.3 lakh is where the maintenance part, where the claim settlement team sits, and then the balance, so 3 and 1.3, so 0.70 lakh is basically a part of the overheads there. So if I were to really kind of look at the sum total, we're talking about 12 plus 5 is 17, 20, 30 and 40 lakh. So this 40 lakh is basically spread out between DAAC, that amounts to 17 and 724, and this is 27 lakh. Okay. The DAMC, which is 2.5 and 3 is 5, 5.7, and 6, 7, 8, 9 lakh. And the balance has to be 4 lakhs only. We can double check. This is 1.3 and 7 is, of course, 4 lakh here. Okay. Now, having got this information with us, we are saying the DAAC is 27 lakh, DAM says 9 lakh, and of course, the other overheads are 4 lakh. Now, why does it, or how does it even, come to the place, or where does it actually, matter there? Let's talk about that. Okay. We are saying that, let's say, on an average, there could be some in-force policies, policies which are already into existence. And then you're looking at new policies that have been issued as well. Okay. So there could be some in-force policies and there could be new policies issued as well. So let's say the number of new policies issued are 20,000 and the in-force policies are already in place. Let's say, give it another number. Let's say another 25,000. Okay. Maybe you've done a good business here in this year, but you got another, enforced policies as well. Okay. Now you need to be relating this to what is your DAAC, which is 27, and what is your DAMC, which is 9 lakh here. Okay. So effectively, let's bring that number. The DAAC is 27 lakh and DAMC is 9 lakh here. Okay. Now, what you want to be mindful of, let's give it a number of 30,000 here, just to look at it from that perspective. What is important to follow is that when you talk about the directly attributable acquisition cost, they would simply be aligned to the new business, kind of an incremental cost around that, which tells me that my DAAC per policy, okay, that would come to 27 lakh divided by 20,000, whatever that number is. That is like what? 5 zeros, 4 gone. You're talking about 270 by 2, which is 135. Okay. And then my DAMC per policy is purely about maintaining my in-force policies there. Okay. Let's do a number of 27. so that it's again divisible. That's the only reason I would want to do that. So you're looking at again 9 lakh divided by, so again not divisible. I think we'll keep it for 30,000 only. Okay, so that's 30,000. So 9 lakh divided by 30,000, you're talking about 300 here. Okay, so the point is that when you look at these, although we don't need these per unit cost per se, but the bigger aspect is that this 27 lakh as well as this 9 lakh, they would be actually considered in arriving at the insurance results, and the remaining 4 lakh that we had, this is purely an operational cost. This is an operational cost for the insurance company, not related to the insurance service result, not related to the insurance based profit or loss, whatever the company is making. So that is where you start looking at that number as a separate line item, not as a part of your insurance service results. Okay, so this is something that you want to be a little more clearer and comfortable about it. And I think you use the normal, basic cost allocation methodologies. If you were looking at, let's say, a depreciation cost. The simple argument is look at the space occupied by different teams and allocate that. Okay, if you look at the overall salary cost, look at the time spent by different teams for different purposes. Okay, accordingly, the same nature of cost, it's the salary cost, for example, can be split between the DAAC, the DAMC, and of course, the other overheads. And accordingly, your accounting, your recognition of profit in a particular period can vary significantly depending on what these categories related costs are. So one needs to be a little more extra careful when doing this assessment. Okay, so when we actually go into the detailed concepts of accounting, you would realize that the recognition of the DAAC impacts your revenue. Okay, the insurance revenue. We'll talk about that, of course, when we do the accounting in depth. The DAMC impacts your insurance related costs. The other overheads, they are simply charged to the P&L broadly. Okay, so that's an important small concept, but again an interesting concept, very much relatable to the people in accounting. They would be able to kind of find it a very straight through concept. But when we do the accounting for the insurance service revenue, insurance service related expenses, and the other overheads, you will actually see a clear distinction of why this classification is so important at that point in time. And this is where you would practically see the basis of allocation tested by auditors. They would like to understand on what basis are you arriving at this cost allocation methodology for your insurance industry or the insurance company that you're a part of, right? So I'll just continue to do this accounting part of it in the subsequent discussions. Thank you for staying along. Have a good day and bye-bye.